Lead on. 10.
It's Saturday, June 25th. I'm at Naval Special Warfare Range 116 at Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton. I'm here for a 3x6 or 3x600 match or mid-range match. We actually were supposed to be at Range 103, which I vlogged about a couple vlogs ago, or I vlogged at, but we got moved to 116 because they're doing some maintenance on 103. I'm actually familiar with this range because I've shot here before. The Navy matches are shot here in April and May every year. We have the Pacific Fleet matches in the All-Navy West. I actually won the Pacific Fleet 2009, I believe. I won the rifle match in 09 here, and I won the EIC match here as well, I think in 2008, I can't recall. So I'm familiar with this range. It's a good facility. It's smaller than Range 103, but it's the facility is well maintained and they have good pits, and it's a nice place to shoot at.
You're reminded to put the sliders on the back of the scorecard for the first match, since it's unlimited sliders.
To the left. Maybe a little high.
Number 23.
Ooh, nice shot. 10. First sider.
A little low. We'll see.
No. You typically don't read anything into that cold bore shot.
Yeah, I know. It's clean too.
I can't see an impact.
6 at 7 o'clock.
Dave, that was high.
Yeah, I got dust that time.
Okay. I'm gonna say it's gonna come up as a miss. Does it look like it went over the target? Okay. And if that's the case,
Nice shot, 10.
yeah. So I want you to come down about 3.5 minutes.
Let's go with it.
Okay, going
Record.
hot.
Okay. He's got you basically at
You may or may not be able to see behind me, but there are 72 target points in Naval Special Warfare Range 116. It's a rifle range. It goes to they have 200-yard line, 300-yard line, 500-yard line, and a 600-yard line. 600-yard line is about half the size of the 5, 3, and the 2. There's actually a pistol range on the other side of this range, and there's also on the other side of this hill, there's Range 117, which is their quote-unquote sniper range. That goes up to 1,400 yards. But we usually use that range for the 1,000-yard long-range matches.
Wind's holding pretty steady right now.
Yep.
Where's that 12?
you don't have to call his location.
Nice.
Cider 10.
Target 28, not visible miss.
Copy.
Mark 2-5.
Mark 25, 25, Mark.
So I just finished my second string of fire. The gun's elevation is holding well. I just can't hold the wind today, and if you can tell with the flags behind me and the wind that's blowing on the microphone, the wind is strong, and it's actually, the direction has been problematic because it keeps fishtailing. This second string of fire, it was constantly like
letting off, and half the flags would turn one way, the other flags would turn the other, and the wind would seem like it's died down and coming straight at you. So my windage was really hard to control, but my elevation was pretty decent. So anyway, the AICS chassis is holding up pretty well, or the AT-AICS. Everything seems fine, so the gun seems to be shooting well as can be considering the conditions.
The outermost ring to the left
7.
or right or on top?
6 on.
8. 9 down. Shit, I've been doing this on 6 all day. I have. Jesus Christ.
4 on?
Yeah.
Hey, Rich.
You want me to shoot
Don't
away?
shoot anymore when the target's down.
9. Halfway. Okay. Shoot which one? The outermost ring? 10
8.
o'clock. Aim there.
7 on. Stand by for a ceasefire.
9. 11 down. So can I shoot or no? Once he says that, stop.
Ceasefire, ceasefire.
Did you say
Stand
that's a
by.
10?
Dave,
It's a 9.
to the GoPro
Oh,
where you
it's
shoot
nine,
that? Yeah. Let's go
Five
there.
Oh,
Because I
8,
know
9.
you're there.
No, wait a minute.
Watch
No.
everything.
Sorry. As you were.
Right now I've literally got 0 windage on this, but you gotta shoot on either side of the 10 ring right now because the wind just keeps, the mirage is going this way constantly.
Time remaining is 16 minutes, 44 seconds.
Can't imagine.
You may load and commence fire.
It's windy as all get out right now. I say it's about 15 to 20 mile an hour wind coming straight at us on the firing line. I just finished my 3rd string of fire, and pretty much what had happened is I shot 0 windage on my scope, and I pretty much was having to hold over left and right because the wind was constantly shifting direction as far as left to right value wind. And so it wasn't even worthwhile to dial any windage on my scope. And so I ended up with a pretty bad score. I dropped 20 points, 180 out of 200, which is pretty bad as far as scores are concerned. But I'm just happy to bring out my AICS chassis gun and know that it shoots relatively well, barring the wind. But the gun is shooting well. So all in all, today was okay. But right now we're winding down. We still have to shoot 2 more relays. That's relay 1 is shooting their last string of fire, and relay 2 is shooting the last string of fire, and then we're done for the day.
Get the high flyer out there.
10. 3 o'clock. Mid ring 10. So pay attention to your time. Let them know when you want to go for record.
10, 12 on.
So the match is done. Everyone's packed up. They're just reviewing scores before they leave. As far as I'm concerned, I pretty much came out here to do what I wanted to do. I got my gun tested out, my Remington 700 project with the AT-AICS. It shoots well at distance. Aside from the whole wind thing, my wind call is terrible, but the gun is shooting well. My elevation hold is good. My 0 remained the same between the stock and chassis switch. So I was at 4.5 mil rads up elevation from my 100 yard 0 to get to 600. So all is well. My wind call is terrible. I just don't shoot often enough, and so I'm really gotten bad. My skills have diminished as far as being able to call wind correctly and to predict and just be patient for to handle the wind shifts. But I don't know, I just need to practice a little bit more. I definitely need to practice my prone position for the bipods.
it's just not that great. So I probably should just go to West End, shoot on the 200 more often, at least practice my prone position for my bipod. As far as the pit footage is concerned, you didn't see footage of me in the pit simply because we hired a target puller. What you can do, or what we do with the club, is we actually hire pullers to go into the pit for a firing point. So if you can opt to do that and hire a puller to go in the pit, if everyone in your firing point, all 3 or 4 shooters on your firing point wants to hire a puller, you can pay a guy, he'll go pull your targets for the entire match. So nobody on your firing point has to pull targets. And so we get some Marines out here who volunteer, or they don't volunteer, but they offer their services, and then every shooter on the firing point will chip in money. And so the pit puller or the Marine gets compensated for his time, and then us shooters who hire the puller, we get the benefit of not having to go down in the pits and pull targets if we're feeling lazy or if you're unable to, because there's some older guys who can't pull targets. Anyway, that's why you didn't see any footage of me in the pits. But all in all, today was pretty good. Fishtailing wind, but other than that, good day to shoot. Not too hot today. It's only about 80 degrees here at Camp Pendleton, as opposed to Riverside, which is about 100 degrees right now. But I need to get out of here myself. I'm starving, so I'm gonna hit up Wendy's before I exit the base. So until then, today is June 25th, Saturday, at the Santa Margarita Gun Club 3x600 match at Naval Special Warfare Range 116. Until the next vlog.
Relay number 1 can move your equipment to the line, but do not handle any firearms at this time. We have personnel and vehicles going down range.